Welcome everybody to episode 0 of the Sunflounder Chronicles. I am Bro Hamilton.
Oi! I'm Jester du jour.
And so let's talk some Lorcana.
Let's talk.
Yeah. So this past weekend we had DLC Seattle happen, and we also had Set Champs here locally happen.
Yes, the last of the Set Champs for this set, I guess, was this past Saturday. Right?
Yes.
A week ago.
Yes.
Yes.
So my understanding is you played in the Set Champs.
I did. I played a Amethyst Emerald deck.
Okay.
That I had found a version of online and adjusted it based off of what I had. And it did okay for me.
Sure.
Took 7th place out of 12, so good enough for a Mirabelle.
Good enough for the
That's
Mirabelle. I know that was
important.
That was your goal moving into it.
Exactly.
The Mirabelle, right?
Well,
that was your goal?
My goal was just to have fun.
Ah, there it is.
Let's say. And I did that.
I do enjoy seeing you at events and how much fun you are having whenever you are playing.
Thank you.
I enjoy that. It makes me happy.
I can't really have a goal to win because then I'll get disappointed. But if I have a goal to have fun, that always works out for me.
Sure.
You know?
Which absolutely makes sense.
Right.
That's probably one of the things that I enjoy the most about whenever a shop asks me to judge their events is just ensuring that everybody's having a good time.
Right.
Now, if you're not having a good time because your opponent's playing cards that you don't like, I can't do much about that. But if your opponent is not being very kind, I can kind of step in and mediate that a little bit.
Right. There's a limit to what you can do.
Right.
You gotta deal with the cards you've been dealt.
Some would say that would be the luck of the draw.
I don't understand.
The cards you're dealt.
Is that like a reference to something?
Card games, typically.
Oh, okay. I don't play those.
Oh, okay.
Card games are of the devil.
So, at the Set Champs, was there... let's talk about the decks that you played against.
The decks that I played against.
Or if you have any recollection or memory of what you played
against. It has been a week.
It's been a little... You've slept since then, from my understanding.
Once or twice.
Okay.
Once or twice.
That's more than me.
Fair enough. I played against their... I actually was very fortunate. Playing that weekend was actually my first-hand experience of playing against a Steel Song deck.
Really?
Somehow I have avoided it throughout all of my tournament play. I've probably played in League once or twice. But at least at tournaments, I have avoided Steel Song like the plague. And finally got a first-hand look at what it can do, and it's a really good deck.
It's a pretty good deck.
That's when it goes, it goes.
They sing their little heart out, don't they?
Oh, yes, they do.
They love it.
Yes. Brooms deck.
Oh, yes.
There was there.
I did hear about this.
The fellow was playing Brooms and did exceedingly well with it.
That's funny. That was actually really funny because I spent my time this past weekend at DLC Seattle.
Oh yeah, how was that?
It was a lot of fun. But real quick onto that topic.
Right.
When I seen the Brooms list, because I know the fellow who was playing it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I seen it, I was in the staff lounge, and I seen him take top 4, and I was sitting with one of my colleagues.
Right.
And who is a Brooms fan.
Okay.
And we talked about it, and then when I seen this fella place top 4, I had to immediately say, hey, Brooms took top 4 at the Set Champs, in which my colleague got extremely excited. Very much excited for the Brooms deck placing in the top 4.
Yes.
And I'm sure that the fella who was in top 4 was also pretty ecstatic about it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's actually his first time topping an event.
I believe so.
Huge shout out to the fellow playing brooms at Set Champs and placing pretty well.
You're out there. I know you're listening. Get at us if we're incorrect.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but going back to DLC Seattle, it was I was part of the staff team this time. I was accepted to be a floor judge.
Oh, cool.
And so that was the first time I helped with that sort of aspect of a major tournament.
Right, I would say, especially at that level.
Right.
You've judged at our Set Champs.
Right,
here.
yes. The store owner typically asks me to help out with their Set Champs, which I have no problem doing. Like I said, I like to make sure that everybody's having a good time, you know?
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun, and it was very insightful and very knowledgeable. You know, and it was a whole different experience. You know, we worked pretty much all day, Saturday and Sunday, because there was lots of events going on.
Oh, I'm sure.
Lots of events. I think they said that there was over 1,500 side events that got launched on between Saturday and Sunday.
1,500 events?
Side events. Right. Now those numbers do include Pack Rush.
Okay.
So Pack Rush is a little bit easier to get to fire, because it would be like me and you paying X amount of dollars,
right,
and then playing Pack Rush, and that counts as a side event.
Okay, so us doing, for example, you and I, just the two of us,
right,
doing one round, I guess, of Pack Rush.
Correct.
That is an event in and of itself.
That is considered an event.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
That's
still a huge number.
That is
a more understandable number.
Right. It was a very successful event.
Cool.
And it was a lot of fun. We made a lot of cool friends. Met a lot of cool people. Some people we knew from the past as being competitors.
Right.
So it was cool reconnecting with them. And it was, man.
I imagine, especially in this new, very different context.
Right.
Yeah, where you're not competing against each other now.
Right. Yeah. So it was pretty cool.
So were you... Sorry.
No, you're fine.
So were you mostly on the main event, or were you judging over at the side event?
And then on Saturday was main event pretty much all day.
Okay.
So my job was to put up paper pairings on the back. So if melee was to go down, then there would be a backup source to where people can find where they're supposed to sit.
Right.
And then after that, then we do floor judge stuff. You know, answer judge calls, or, you know, the biggest part of it wasn't even answering judge calls. The biggest part of it was directing people as to where different table numbers were.
That makes sense.
That was the majority of my information, just an info point kind of deal, you know?
Right.
And then just minor things during game states or whatever, somebody asking what a specific card does, you know, because it might affect the way that they play or something like that. So they said that. So I do believe that Ravensburger has now said that it is okay for players to ask for oracle text during a game. So which is essentially asking what a very the very specific wording on a card if it's not in play.
Is that, and I apologize.
No, you're fine.
We're gonna come back to this.
Okay.
Oracle text.
Right.
This is a new term for me.
Okay.
Is this a generic trading card game term, or is that from another game? Because I know you have a lot of experience.
I do have a lot. I have an extensive background in card games. So the way that Oracle text,
I do not.
So Oracle text just means what is the wording on the card.
Okay.
So in which case, if somebody were to ask for the Oracle text, we would go to the Lorcana app, We would pull up the very specific card that they're asking for.
You have to go to the app, not to the card itself.
Well, the app would take you to the card, right?
Sorry, to rephrase that. So you're looking at the app, not the physical card?
Correct.
Okay.
So like, let's say that both of our board states are blank. And then you say, I would like the Oracle text on Haram Flavorsham. Right? So I would go to the Lorcana app, I would look up Haram Flavorsham, and I would let you read the card on my app. Okay. And it could essentially affect what a player does during their turn or something.
Okay.
So it's kind of to help out with gameplay, game state, kind of deals.
That makes a lot more sense. Right. I was concerned, I guess, not concerned, confused.
Sure.
If you had to go to the app, like, for example, that dreaded squirrel, for example.
Oh, yes.
If somebody was still playing that, you'd have to go to the app. Be named. Right.
Yes. So, like, that would be a very good example.
Okay.
Right? Because as of right now, we do not have a reprinted dreaded squirrel.
Yes.
Right.
That was the official name, right? If I remember correctly, it was Bucky Dreaded Squirrel.
I think it was.
Or is that just how we came to know it?
I think you might be right. I think somewhere on the card it says, like, when you play this, your opponent's not allowed to have fun or something like that. I think that was the text that was written in the box.
Right. At least that's what I gathered from others.
So from watching events happen, and you could definitely tell. So from a judge standpoint and watching the room,
right,
you could definitely tell when somebody had a Bucky on the field. Yeah. Because a lot of players would sit there like this.
And that's the players playing Bucky, right?
Yeah, that was the player sitting
player
across,
that had him on their side.
Sitting across from Bucky. Sad faced,
yes.
Yes. But the so that was
that was part of.
So yeah, the biggest thing about it wasn't like anybody trying to get the other player in trouble. It was more or less people asking how certain mechanics worked. Right. Or whatever. Like, I was concerned that there would be a lot more rule sharking at that level of competitiveness, but there was essentially none of that, which is kind of strange coming from other TCGs. Yeah. So,
but good, right?
It is very good. It is very good.
I mean, it sounds.
I will say from that standpoint that the Lorcana community is way better than any other TCG that I've actually played.
Well, just saying. I'm only in the one community, so.
Right. So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a way different experience, and I'm glad that I was able to do it, and I hopefully can do it again.
I was about to ask, if given the opportunity, would you do it again?
100%. It was a lot of fun. It was fun helping people, you know?
Fair enough.
That was...
And you have gone as a competitor before.
Yes.
Correct.
I have been to Chicago, Fort Worth, and Vegas. Okay. And then Seattle was my first time on the event staff.
Okay.
So.
Going forward, would you prefer one over the other, or you kind of have the same but different ways of fun?
As far as preference for it goes, that I'll probably apply to be on the event staff, and I'll also buy a competitor ticket, because then if I get looked over as an event staff, I can still go. Yeah. So I mean, like, that's how I worked it for Seattle. I had a Seattle competitor ticket. Okay. And I also applied to be a floor judge for Seattle. So. Yeah.
Fair enough.
So I mean, like, kind of one of those I'm going regardless kind of deals. You know, it's like you have fun doing one thing, you have fun doing the other thing. It's just a different kind of fun on, you know.
Yeah,
on each side of the spectrum.
That's very understandable.
Right. So, I think that as long as it's Lorcana related, I'll continue to go.
That makes sense.
Right. Yeah, so, I mean, like, that's where I'm at with it.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? Do you have any interest in going to a DLC event?
Sure. I actually recently have talked with, I've started talking with my wife.
Sure.
About the potential possibility of eventually going to one.
Sure.
As many qualifiers as I can put onto that as possible.
Right.
As many conditional statements. I think it'd be neat to go.
Uh-huh.
It's definitely, from the sounds of things, y'all have gone.
Right.
Y'all have had a great time.
Yeah.
If I were to go, from what I understand, are there, it seemed like there were, I started looking into it, just, attendee badges.
Yeah.
Not trying to get into a main event or anything, because, I know where my strengths lie.
Sure.
And more than likely, if I went into a main event, I'm only going to disappoint and get upset with myself.
Sure.
Sure. But actually going and, meeting people, that sounds wonderful.
It's amazing. The amount of... There's a lot of people to meet.
Oh, I'm sure.
There's a lot of people to meet. It feels like... So you... I don't know about you, but myself.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to many of podcasts.
Okay.
Involving Lorcana.
Okay.
I watch a lot of Lorcana content when I'm at work.
Fair enough.
Or listen to it, rather. And it is a whole different thing whenever you go to an event and somebody knows you because of the content you do.
Okay.
And it's also really cool meeting people that you listen to. You're like, hey, you're so-and-so from such and such, love your work,
Yeah.
And it's like, you can tell when you say that to somebody, how it just brightens them up a little bit,
Right. Everybody loves recognition.
Sure. Especially if you're doing a good job,
Exactly.
And it's that was one of the things with some of the guys that I've met, Kevin from Lorcana Goons, really cool dude. I met Moyen from Podcana Podcast in Seattle. Really cool dude.
Yeah.
And it was just things like that where it's somebody from what you listen to, and so then you get to put a personality to them off the screen.
Right. More complete out who they are.
Right. And it's a really cool thing, And I sat down in Seattle and before, so Knive was also on the event staff.
Okay.
And so we met.
They're great. Follow them on Twitter.
Yeah, Knive is great. I love
their
Knive.
full username. I don't remember offhand.
It's I think it's at Knive Nerd Corner.
That sounds right.
That sounds it's something. And if if you're listening and you want to drop your stuff in the comment section, but feel free.
Yes.
So we sat down and we played a couple games before our shift started, out a little bit and everything else, and that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And whatnot. So a lot of people to meet at the DLCs and whatnot.
I'm sure. Okay. So we've talked about the DLC.
We have.
And kind of your general experience with it.
Right.
I think we should maybe get into a little bit the actual main event.
The main event of the DLC.
Of that DLC.
Sure.
The tournament there was... I don't remember offhand. I know I had looked a bunch of people.
It was, I think, around 1,900 competitors.
I couldn't remember if it was 18 or 1,900.
Yeah, I think it was about 1,900 in day one. It's a lot of people.
So many people.
So many people. People love to be competitive.
Yeah.
And
good for them.
More power to them.
Yeah.
It's a really good game to be competitive in. It's simple enough and it's fun.
Yes.
It's very fun.
Very fun.
So the main event, the winner was Emerald Steel, piloted by Luke Wonderland. Shout out to him, very good player. came to be a friend of mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a really good dude.
Good on you.
So there's a really funny story about Wonderland, real quick.
Okay.
So on Friday, before the main event, Wonderland is part of Team Labyrinth.
Okay.
And he was playtesting against Sailor, who is also a member of Team Labyrinth.
Right.
And I was watching them playtest.
Mm-hmm.
However, Wonderland was playtesting Steel Song against Sailor. And I kind of just, I was walking by and, I noticed a very distinctful guy. Like, I love his hair, by the way.
Okay.
I'll show you a picture later.
Yeah.
But, so, like, sometimes, for me, it's easy to pick him out of the crowd because,
sure.
it's a very distinctful look. But he was playing Steel Song, and he was debating on whether to play Steel Song in the main event.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really funny because whenever I was seeing it, I asked him, I says, are you thinking about playing this in the main event? It was me, him, and Sailor sitting on the table. So we're kind of like segregated from the rest of the crowd. And he says, well, right now, Sailor's showing me why I shouldn't play this deck. So, Sailor is very renowned for his red-blue skills, So it was actually really funny that.
Yeah.
And then Wonderland pulled out the Emerald Steel and then was shown why he should play Emerald Steel.
Went all the way with it.
Yes, and absolutely, shout out to Wonderland. He's a really good guy, really good player, and just a great guy overall. He's a great personality, really nice. And everything else. I actually talked to him and I was like, dude, I really hope that you get this one. Because he's been grinding all season for the dub.
Yeah.
And he finally got it.
Yeah.
I think he told me that his aspirations was just to qualify for Continentals, but he took it a step further.
Yeah. Well,
He got the Golden Mickey.
If you get that far, you might as well.
Yeah, right. Win in Seattle. But yeah, so that's a little bit about my interaction with Wonderland before the main event. That being said, I think in top 4, I think there were 2 Ruby Amethyst decks in top 4, correct?
If I recall correctly, yes. Top 4, it was the Emerald Steel deck.
Emerald Steel.
And then a Steel Song deck.
Right.
And then 2 Ruby Amethyst.
Let's talk about the best of 2 format. You have a little bit of experience with best of 2.
Yeah, I've played it a couple of the local set champs.
Sure.
Those stores have used the best of 2.
And what do you think about it? There's a lot of discussion now within the community of if Ravensburger is going to swap back to best of 3 next tournament cycle.
Okay.
Or if we'll continue to see the best of 2. So it might be worth a conversation to have on your thoughts on if you like the best of 2 format. There's also a big Twitter debate about it as well.
Oh, well, if Twitter has spoken on it, then who am I to go against Twitter? Best of 2, I don't really know the math.
Sure.
That math well enough to really know, or at this point, truly understand the best of 2, best of 3 argument.
Sure.
Right? I know personally I prefer best of 3 just because of the way it feels.
Sure.
But that's also, I consider myself still very new to TCGs in general.
Sure.
I came into Lorcana day 1.
Uh-huh.
Day 1 of set 1, the local game store release date, whatever that was, September 1st of last year, if I remember right. Somewhere around there. Whenever it was, the first chapter came out.
Right.
I happened to be in a store for other reasons and just saw other people buying. I was like, I'm interested. I'll get a deck.
Right.
And it's taken over my life.
Sure. A little bit.
Best of 3 is how I was taught how to play the game.
Sure.
Best of 3 is always going to feel correct to me.
Right.
That is just a bias I have towards best of 3.
Which is valid.
If best of 2 is solving the problems that they are claiming it does, then I don't have any real issue with it.
Sure.
It still feels wrong.
It does feel wrong.
But
like, okay, so my thing about the best of 2 versus the best of 3. And I have no mathematical issue on why I don't like best of 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say that 2 different things, okay?
Okay.
The first one is I'm paying to play Lorcana.
True.
And I am now playing less Lorcana.
Okay.
Like that's my biggest thing. Like I want to play.
Yeah.
And you like best of 3 sounds like you're playing more Lorcana than best of 2.
Right.
Right? I mean, unless you win the first 2 games, then it's whatever.
Yeah.
But
best of 3, there's at least a chance at a third game.
Sure.
From what limited experience I've had with best of 2, if you win game 1, great.
Right.
You lose game 2, it just feels incomplete to me.
Exactly. I feel the same way. And it's like, you got to draw a line and call a truce and walk away. You don't get that game 3 grudge match, you know?
Right. I understand in other parts of the world.
Sure.
In some, we'll say, widely celebrated worldwide sports, ties are not only allowed but common.
Sure.
But this is America. We don't play to ties.
We don't play ties here.
That's right. We go until there's a winner and there is a loser. And I say that as someone that's usually on the loser side of that.
But at least
that's just how we go.
But at least it doesn't leave it in your mind that like you had a chance of winning.
Right. You know? I would prefer the certainty of loss.
Like you get your closure.
Yes.
Right? And you're like, okay, maybe I shouldn't play this.
Is it time to sell out? Every tournament?
Is this my time? But that's okay, so that's one of my arguments, is I just want to play more Lorcana.
Right.
And best of 2 makes it feel like I'm playing less Lorcana.
And that makes sense.
My second thing is, I think my personal opinion is the best of 2 format limits deck innovation.
Okay.
And
I'm very interested.
So where I'm going with that is, since we've swapped to a best of 2 format, it is very rare to see aggro decks make day 2.
Okay.
Because aggro decks typically depend on going first at least twice, so they can, because the aggro deck is very good at going turn 1 thing, turn 2 thing.
Sure.
And now we're off to the races.
Right.
But whenever you get to go first and you can play turn 1 thing, and now my turn 1 thing isn't that great because it's a 1/1 that quests for 2.
Right.
Like, it doesn't really get to do its job.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay. Right. And I can follow that.
No, don't get me wrong. It does come up where an aggro deck makes day 2, but it's not as common as the best of 3 format or best of 3 Swiss format.
Okay, that's interesting.
Or it could be.
I had not thought about that, and I'm interested in trying to
data analysis.
Exactly.
You're the data guy.
Not to be citation needed on that, but
check it out.
Exactly, because we as people,
right,
we will often notice trends that are not actually there in the data. That's just a problem of being human. Correct. Is that we recognize things that aren't necessarily there.
Right.
That said, I mean, it sounds right. You know,
yeah.
like it sounds like it would make sense.
Right.
The best of two would limit, especially your aggro decks, because it is with best of two, you just take turns on who goes first.
Right.
You know. Sorry, yeah, it is. It's specified that whoever doesn't go first round one.
Correct. So the typical thing is in best of two, you start out with a die roll, just like you do best of three.
Right.
The winner of the die roll determines who goes first game one.
Okay.
If you do not go first game one, you go first game two.
Okay, so that is part of the the actual rules.
Correct.
Okay. I couldn't remember if it was because best of three. It's whoever loses game one decides for game two.
Correct.
But that's not the case in best of two.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, this is why I'm not a judge.
See,
there's too many rules.
It threw me off when the best of two format got switched, or when it got switched to best of two.
Right.
It threw me off because I didn't read into it.
Yes.
So I lost. I went first game one and lost, and I was like, I'll go first, and they're like, no, I go first.
No, you won't.
And I was like, wait, what? You know. So I had a judge explain that to me, and I was like, I'm cooked.
which is always the worst way to learn a rule.
Correct.
Is in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're like, so I'm gonna win because I'm going first now.
Right.
And they're like, actually, I'm going first.
Yeah.
And I'm like, excuse me. But yeah, so those were my two takes on the best of two format.
Okay.
I want to play more. And I would also like more deck innovation. I would like to just see, like, aggro kind of gets pushed off to the side because you have to win 2 games with aggro.
Right.
And aggro has a tough time winning game 2. Mm-hmm. Or winning on the draw. Winning on the draw.
Right.
So, but yeah, so that's my...
At least for now.
Maybe
this next set.
Maybe the next tournament cycle.
Yeah.
Or the next set. Is there something that aggro is getting in the next set?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know either.
I don't know how to play this game.
But, so, moving past Seattle, the DLC in Seattle.
Yes.
We have Continentals coming up in Europe, I think in December.
Okay.
What do you think okay, so we'll say this. What's your prediction that's going to take down Continentals?
It's going to take Continentals.
Now, keep in mind that I do believe that Set 6 will be legal for Continentals.
Oh, really?
It will be legal. I do believe. I could be wrong. But I do believe that it will be legal.
Okay. An aggro deck is going to take EU Continentals.
You have a color.
You heard it here first.
Do you have a color pairing? So we have aggro locked in.
Yeah.
But that's pretty broad.
All right.
What color pairing of aggro do you think? Now we get into the nitty gritty.
All right. You're hearing it here first. You're hearing it here now. At Gesture du Jour, I'm calling it now. Feel free to call me out when I'm wrong.
Or right.
Or right, especially if I'm right. If I'm wrong, I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
It's going to be an Amber Amethyst Hyper Aggro deck.
You're going am.
Am EU Champs. Just
am EU Champs.
It's going to wipe everything out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Amber Amethyst.
Yep.
Locking it in.
Lock it in.
That's a hot take.
Yeah.
You want to hear mine?
Of course.
Blue Steel.
Get out of here.
Yeah, it's going to be...
Get out of here.
I'm calling it. Blue Steel...
Listen.
Microbots.
Your microbots.
Microbots.
Your microbots are... It's going to be an amazing deck in theory that will flop on the day.
Probably.
That's...
Probably. But I'm just saying Blue Steel because of Microbot.
Yeah, no, I entirely understand.
Whether Microbots are in the deck list or not, we'll leave that up to the pilot.
Right. Right.
But it's some hot tech.
Mm-hmm.
It's some good.
Those microbots, it's exciting.
I seen it in Seattle. They had the game developers there.
Oh, nice.
And some of them were playing with set 6 cards.
Yeah.
And microbots are silly. That's all I'll say. Is they are silly.
That's very exciting.
It's so silly. But he was playing Blue Steel microbots. And it was amazing.
Remind me and our wonderful listenership.
Sure.
Microbots.
Yes.
It's going to be a new card for Azurite C.
It is a new card.
It's an item card.
It is an item card.
And remind me what it does.
Alright, so it's a inkable 2-drop item. You play this item, chosen character gets minus X for however many microbots you have in play.
Minus what?
Minus X strength.
X strength. Okay.
Yes. So, in theory, if you play 2 microbots in a turn, you can essentially play one, right? Mm-hmm. You play one and give something -1, right? Because you have 1 microbot in play. And
so it counts the current one going down.
Yes, I do believe it says when you play this character, so it would see itself. Okay. So, when you play it, you give something -1 strength. Mm-hmm. When you play another one, it would get -2 more strength. So playing 2 microbots in a turn would give something -3 strength in total.
Right. Or, I mean, you could spread it out or whatnot.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... And then the cream of the crop is when you have yokai in play. Mm-hmm. The 9-drop inkable, I think he's like a 6/10. Or 6/9. I think it's a 6/10.
Something or other.
Yes,
yeah.
it's he's very large.
He's very big.
He's very big. But whenever he's in play, you can play the microbots for free. Yeah, now we're getting somewhere. Look, he's like, okay, he's saying right now, folks, he's saying, maybe Blue Steel will win Continentals in Europe.
I'm standing by my lock. I think...
I'm very excited for it.
So walk me through it then, this hypothetical build that you're definitely already looking at. I can tell. I can see it in your eyes. Board. You've already got it built up.
Oh yes.
So why steel? I guess what is it from steel that you're needing for like that overall deck? Because I assume there's other things aside from just yokai and the microbots.
Correct. We can get into my theory crafting in a little bit. Let's jump back to Continentals.
All right. We'll put a pin in this.
Yes. We are pinning this message.
Yes.
So we have Continentals in Europe in December.
Okay.
And then we have Continentals in America in, I do believe, January.
Okay.
Yeah.
So North America.
January. Yeah, and that's gonna be. I do believe that one's gonna be in. Continentals is going to be in California. Disneyland.
In Disneyland.
And then World is going to be in Disney World. Makes sense.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's Continentals, and then there is also Worlds.
Right, where the top competitors of the Continentals will go to Worlds.
Okay. And you get to Continentals by
Continentals
doing well at the DLC?
Correct. If you place top 16, you get invited.
Okay.
To Continentals.
Okay.
So anybody who top 16'd...
So we already know everybody that's going to...
Correct.
Okay.
So we have a list of all of those competitors. Well, I don't have a list, but
I definitely
there's a list online somewhere where you can look up all of the competitors that are going to Disneyland.
Or at least that have been invited.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. Yeah, not going. I can't put words in their mouth.
Yeah.
But... Yes, you can look up who has gotten invited just by looking up the past DLCs and who plays top 16.
Okay.
So you're going with Amber Amethyst for Continentals in Europe.
Yes.
Do you have one for America?
For America.
I gotta write this down somewhere so you don't change your answer.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So EU.
I mean, we have a digital record of it, but we'll definitely want to write it down as well.
Oh yeah, I want this in paper.
Oh yeah.
Videos can be edited.
Sure. Because paper is so concrete.
I mean, do you want me to put it on concrete?
Let's leave it at where we've got it.
All right. So you got
AM for Europe.
Yep, America.
For North America, again, I think Set 6 is really going to change a lot of things.
I think Set 6 is very exciting.
I think it's going to change more than we think it's going to.
Yes.
I definitely hope that the kind of big three we've got going on gets shaken up a little bit.
I think we're in for I don't want to say a rude awakening because that sounds...
Yeah, it's not going to be a rude awakening per se, but it's going to be...
Exciting.
It's going to be a tectonic shift.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. All right, so America. I am not going to give you a combo because I can't think for certain what the combo is going to be. Sure.
One of them colors, though...
Give me an archetype.
...is going to be emerald.
Emerald. Okay. Do
Do
you have an archetype of what... Is it going to be aggro?
I don't know the archetypes very well.
Tempo? Like that?
Sure. Sounds like a fun word.
Tempo? So emerald amethyst tempo, maybe?
It could be emerald amethyst. It could be... I think... I don't know exactly what the combo is going to be, like within the actual cards.
Sure.
I think it's time for an Emerald Ruby deck to rise.
Emerald Ruby.
I think Ruby. Especially...
I can get behind Emerald Ruby.
Especially coming right out of Christmas time, going into January.
There we go.
Let's make it happen, folks.
There we go. It's Christmas. We want Emerald Ruby Christmas from Jester du Jour.
That's right.
So are we locking in Emerald Ruby?
Let's lock it in.
All right, we're locking in
North America.
Emerald Ruby.
North America.
Don't
champ.
disappoint.
Don't disappoint. It's gonna be Christmas.
It's gonna be Christmas. I think with the American one, with the American Continentals, I think I'm going to go with a form of locations deck. Yeah. We're getting the new Sugar Rush Speedway that whenever you move a character there, you can banish it, draw 3, and gain 3 lore.
That's true. Hey.
And there's...
Hey, what color is that in again?
That one's amber, isn't it?
It's ruby.
Is it? That Sugar Rush Speedway is ruby?
If I remember correctly, both Sugar Rush Speedways are ruby. Both locations, both the entrance and the finish line.
Really? I can't remember.
I believe so.
Let me give it a quick look here.
Yes, you should. Yes. Normally I'd be able to look it up, but I don't have my big spreadsheet with me.
That's fine. We got access to the World Wide Web.
Oh right, I've heard of that.
I don't necessarily know how it works.
Magic is my understanding.
Sure. Sugar Rush Speedway, the new one. The only thing I see here is...
Is it up on Dreamborn yet already?
It is on Dreamborn, however, they only have... It is amber.
It is amber. Well, shows me for trying to know things.
So it is an amber card. But the only thing that makes sense with this is to pair it with Ruby.
Right.
Because of Jimbo Hawkins. Because he moves there for free. I think it costs 6 to move there.
Okay.
So Jim can play it for free and move there for free.
How much did the location cost?
2. It's 2 uninkable, but it costs 6 to move.
Okay, but there is a location.
There are other
from this next set that is too much for Jim, if I remember correctly.
Yes, I think that's Treasure Planet.
Okay, yes, it's that one.
I think it is Treasure Planet, right?
Treasure Mountain.
Treasure Mountain, not Planet.
Yes.
Well, I mean, mountains can be planets.
Well,
It depends on what planet you're on.
No.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
He's not letting me have this one.
Okay, so yeah, Jim could move there for free.
Right.
You could have the magic carpet.
Right.
Is an amethyst.
Sure.
They'll let people move there for free.
Right. There's a lot of different.
Probably your best bet is going to be Ruby though.
Right, I think so because you got Tuk too. The 3-drop Tuk that whenever you play him, you can move another character and himself to another location.
Okay. Yeah, you've got him and Ruby. You've got. It's the song. Is it I Will Find My Way?
Voyage.
You've got Voyage.
Voyage. I Will Find My Way is an amethyst card. I think.
Emerald.
Emerald?
If it's not a ruby, it's emerald.
Maybe. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think, but yeah. So I think that I think that a form of locations will.
Oh. There's the starting line. Location.
Sure. Yeah.
That you can move there for free.
Sure.
And then exert and take a damage
and move it
to another location for free.
That sounds like a good way to cheese out some extra lore.
That really sounds not terrible to me.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I like where this is going.
Yeah.
I think that a strong location deck will actually make an appearance in set 6.
There was a good location deck in Vegas that was really fun.
Oh yes, the Ruby Steel one.
With the Ruby Steel with that Seven Dwarfs Mine.
Yeah, that's one of your favorites.
Yeah, I loved it.
I know.
Yeah.
I was sitting across the table from you a couple times. And it was very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got Emerald, or not Emerald, Amethyst, Amber, Continentals in Europe.
Yes.
I'm saying Blue Steel.
You're saying Blue Steel.
I got it written down.
Okay.
America.
And you're saying Blue Steel specifically Microbots Yokai, or no? Are you wanting to lock in with that much detail?
Not that much detail. I'm saying Blue Steel. Blue Steel will...
Blue Steel.
Blue Steel.
Fair enough.
What they do with Blue Steel and the amount of knowledge that I have shared thus far...
That's up to them.
That's up to them. And then Emerald Ruby for America.
That's right.
And then I am going to lock in... Oh, man. I'm just gonna say locations. Is that good? Or do I need color combos?
I think you're good with just locations because we've talked a lot. We think
that there's only
it's going to be an Amber locations deck.
Yes, I think that it has to be Amber Ruby. I'm gonna say Amber Ruby.
Okay.
Because
Amber Ruby it is?
Amber Ruby is the only way that you're gonna make location decks work. Theoretically.
Yeah.
Theoretically. But,
at least for right now.
Right.
You know?
So, I think that is where we are going to fall for Continentals. There has been the Champions League. Have you heard of the Champions League that has been going on?
Offhandedly, but I have not, unfortunately, had or taken the time to really look into what's going on.
Sure.
So,
let's talk about Champions.
What's going on?
So Champions League, right? So Champions League is it's a fun type of way for teams, competitive teams, to play 3v3 events. Wonderland is one of the main people that have put this together.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so the winner of Seattle has gifted us with this amazing Champions League.
Excellent.
Which is a way for just teams to compete against, or not compete, but play against each other.
No, you're saying 3v3.
Right. So essentially,
is that 3 matches of 1v1?
Yes.
Okay, so
yes.
that's not that's not like 3 of us and 3 of them sitting down across from each other. That seems much too complicated.
That's a little silly.
Just a little silly.
A little silly.
All right.
But so essentially, it's 3 different members of a team. Will play against 3 different members of another team, and I do believe it's a best of 3 match.
Okay.
And I do believe that you are allowed to play same ink color, but you are not allowed to play the same decks. So if you're playing Emerald, if you're playing Emerald Steel,
we can share a color, but we can't have the same combo.
Correct.
Okay.
And I do believe that's the rules on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 out of 3 of your teammates need to win.
Right.
And I believe that it's that simple.
Fair enough. That seems pretty straightforward.
Which our team is actually in the pool of teams.
Oh, nice.
Right. So
look at us.
Yeah, look at us go.
Nice.
So more information on that to come because we don't really know. Like,
stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned for whenever our team is up to play.
Yeah,
you know, it'll be all over Twitter and Discords and everything else.
Yeah,
we're pretty cool.
Is it being streamed? Like these matches, are they being streamed?
Yes,
somewhere,
they're being streamed on Wonderland's Twitch channel.
Okay.
So if you look up Wonderland on Twitch and shoot him a follow. I do believe that the Champions League goes on Fridays.
We might try and find a link for that.
Yeah.
And throw it in our description.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can definitely send Wonderland or put Wonderland's link for Champions League in the description.
Right.
Because it's actually a pretty cool thing to promote, and there's a lot of really cool people that play it.
I definitely need to be checking that out.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then yeah, so that's about it for that. And then we have the CCG 8K, which is Charlies Collectible Games in Atlanta. We have the 8K coming up in December as well. Okay. And I believe it's going to be Set 6 legal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do believe so.
Okay.
So what do you think is going to win that one? Let's get you.
Oh my goodness!
Let's get you locked in.
Oh my goodness! You are doing too many predictions my way, or you're asking too many predictions of my way. So for this one here, I'm not going to try and really test my fortune or anything like that.
Sure.
It's an 8K. Yeah, sure. Set 6 is going to be legal, but
there's not going to be a lot of innovation on it though.
Exactly. So it's too fast. Really?
So you gotta hit them out of the blue.
It's gonna be Ruby Sapphire.
Ruby Sapphire
is my lock-in for CCG. It was Charlie's Collectible Games?
Yep, Charlie's Collectible.
Charlie's Collectible Games 8K.
Yep.
In Atlanta.
Yep.
In December. Ruby Sapphire.
Ruby Sapphire.
You heard it here first.
Alright. You wanna know mine?
Of course.
This is gonna be the Microbots one.
That's going to be the Microdot.
Yeah.
Microbots.
Right. Because it's going to be new. So there's not going to be enough time to figure out how to play against it.
Fair enough.
So the element of surprise, if you will.
Yeah. Hey, it works. That element of surprise can be very powerful.
It can be. That's the element of surprise was one of the ways that our teammate Lycos14 won a lot of games in the first Set Champs with Jafar Wheel. Because the element of surprise. I can see.
That's a fun deck.
It's a fun deck.
That was a fun deck.
That was a very fun deck. Which we do need to talk about our 2v2 experience that happened yesterday.
Yes.
But we're going to do that on the next segment when we get into the more casual talk.
Yeah, okay.
So
perfect.
So make sure you stay tuned for that, because this is fun.
You see us. We're going to be talking about that two-headed tournament that you just did, the 2v2.
The 2v2.
And then we might talk a little bit about, I know there's a tournament coming up here locally.
Yes.
Another fun casual tournament that I, for one, am very excited about.
Yes.
That we're going to be talking about here in just a little bit for us, but a little bit longer for you. It's worth the wait.
It is worth the wait. It is very much worth the wait. I'm excited for that one. That's happening next weekend.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I
need to get my... I need to do some testing at home.
Yeah. Okay.
And maybe do a little bit more finessing.
Sure.
But I think I've got an idea.
Absolutely.
In the meantime, I think this has been us
hanging out, talking Lorcana.
Excellent.
And other things.
Yeah. Where can people find you online?
I am on Twitter at Brohamington. I'm on Twitch, Brohamington. And I am also in the Disney Lorcana page on Facebook. What about you?
I am Jester du Jour on Twitter. I am technically on other websites, but I don't really post anything there. Mostly I went and set up accounts so that nobody took my name. But yeah, follow... especially Brohamington.
We are very active.
He's much more active than I am. I'm getting there.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
That's right.
Neither was Atlantis.
Well, Atlantis was built in a day and a half, but we don't need to go into that.
Sure.
But yeah, this has been...
this has been a lot of fun.
It's been a lot of fun. I'm very much looking forward to a lot more conversations.
And our room is not as hot. Make sure you push the like button, the subscribe button, and just shoot us emails, shoot us questions, and we'll see you guys around.
Yeah. Alrighty.